Peter Dow was a strategist for Hillary Clinton. He was also, back in the day, a strategist for John Kerry. So he's basically been a Democratic establishment insider for a while now. He's part of the club. And as part of that role, he's been throwing haymakers at Bernie Sanders' face for months now. And naturally, the arguments he's been making are the dumbest fucking arguments I've ever heard in my life. So let's take a look at his recent installment here. He said the other day, "I'll be crystal clear. Bernie Sanders has absolutely no business determining the course of the Democratic Party after the harm he did to us." That's so stupid, I'm going to read it again to wrap my mind around it. I will be crystal clear. Bernie Sanders has absolutely no business determining the course of the Democratic Party after the harm he did to us. How can anybody believe that? So let's stop and review the facts here. Bernie Sanders, a person not known by anybody except the biggest political junkies, an obscure senator from Vermont. He decided he was going to run for president. He's about 372 years old. He calls himself a socialist. He's a Jewish, potentially atheist too, and didn't fucking comb his hair, literally. And he decided to take on the behemoth of the Democratic Party with the most name recognition, maybe of any candidate ever at that point. So she was Secretary of State, she was First Lady, she was Senator from New York. There was already speculation of her going to run. She was literally a celebrity, and she also had the entire celebrity establishment behind her and the financial establishment behind her. Wall Street and big money donors for days. Somehow, that guy got 47% of the vote and won 22 states. Not only that, when you looked at the polls for the general election, Bernie Sanders was up in some polls, this is amazing, 15 points nationally on Donald Trump. 15 points. On average, 10 points. Hillary Clinton would go back and forth between up 3 points, up 4 points, up 2 points, just in that range. Now, obviously, she ended up winning the popular vote by over 2 million votes. So, she ended up winning by maybe 1 point or 2 points, but that wasn't enough to defeat Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton lost, and she lost for very understandable reasons when you look at the demographics. What happened is she lost the white working class. The Democratic firewall fell. Ohio wasn't part of the firewall, but it's part of the same grouping of states here. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. These are states that fell. The Democrats were supposed to hang on to that, and she didn't even step foot in Wisconsin because she thought that one's on lock. It wasn't on lock. Now think back to what the Hillary Clinton campaign said about Bernie Sanders during the primary. They argued his supporters are too white and too working class, so he's not going to win the election. That's the exact demographic that lost you the election, because they didn't turn out for you, because they don't believe you, because you have horrific messaging and your campaign was shit. You're stronger together, break down the barriers, cliches, and platitudes. America's already great. Damn it. Now, Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, see, the thing is, he nipped in the bud everything that got Trump the broader appeal that he needed to win the election. See, Trump, yes, he was going to get a lot of the, let's face it, deplorables in the country who really are just racist and bigoted and xenophobic. He was going to get them because of a lot of the shit he said in the campaign. Ban 1.6 billion Muslims from coming into America, deport all undocumented immigrants, do nationwide stop and frisk, which of course disproportionately targets black people and takes away their Fourth Amendment rights, and over 90% of the time doesn't, yield anything. So he was going to get those people no matter what. He was going to get the Republican base no matter what. But he was able to get more people. Why? Because of the anti-establishment angle of his message. Now, Bernie Sanders nips that in the bud. So Bernie Sanders has all of the benefits of the Trump anti-establishment message with none of the downsides of the baggage of bigotry. So, again, this is why the numbers showed Bernie Sanders would have won the general election in a fucking landslide, and Hillary Clinton lost. Now, knowing all that, how the fuck does this tweet make any goddamn sense? This tweet would make sense if he took out Bernie Sanders and put in Hillary Clinton. Let's read it again that way. I'll be crystal clear. Hillary Clinton has absolutely no business determining the course of the Democratic Party after the harm she did to us. That is exactly right. Because this establishment, corporatist, hawkish, centrist/center-right Democratic Party got its goddamn clock cleaned. So understand, it ain't just the presidency. Now you have Republicans hold the majority of state legislatures. They hold the majority of governorships. They hold the majority in the House of Representatives. They hold the majority in the Senate. And they have the presidency. They have everything. 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 Now I submit to you, who's been in charge of the Democratic Party for the last 8 years or so? It's been the establishment wing. It hasn't been Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and Keith Ellison. It hasn't been those people. It hasn't been the progressive wing. You guys have been in charge. You built that. You own the fucking loss. So Bernie Sanders gave the Democratic Party the way forward. He showed them, look, if you want to be viable, man. I mean, look at the numbers of these millennials, what they like. Did you know among millennials, socialism polls more favorable than fucking capitalism? And you're out there bragging about the fucking, speeches you gave to Goldman Sachs and, you're part of the establishment and moderate. Call me a centrist? Guilty. So you guys are wrong based on the numbers. When you go issue by issue, Bernie Sanders' policy platform is beloved by everybody, even Republicans. So this guy offers you the way. He offers you the popular messaging. He gets the groups that you needed to win, but you didn't get. And then you slap him in the face. And then you turn around and say, step aside, man. You're the problem. You can't determine the course of the Democratic Party because you did harm to us. Except, Peter, President Obama has been in charge. And we just got our clocks cleaned. Hillary Clinton ran. She was the candidate in the general election. She was the nominee. She lost. What more evidence do you fucking need? It's been proven to you, and you still are refusing to let go of power. And by the way, you've heard all the deflections. We covered it with the Karen Finney story not that long ago. They're blaming anything and everything but themselves. Anything and everything. So it's James Comey from the FBI. It's sexism in the country. You name it. Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, even though if every single Jill Stein voter voted for Hillary Clinton, she still would have lost. And even though Gary Johnson took more from Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton, they just throw it out there. I don't know if every third-party candidate voted for her. Except why would you even fucking assume that? And 9% of Democrats voted for Donald Trump. So just deflect. Don't look in the mirror. Don't be self-critical, because if you do that, you might find massive, massive flaws that need to be addressed. Better to not address any of those flaws, blame everybody else, and move along and continue to lose. But that's what's going to happen if you listen to Peter Dow. Because guess what? Just like I told you at the beginning of the story, who was he a strategist for? You can't make this stuff up. Hillary Clinton and John Kerry. What happened with Hillary Clinton and John Kerry again? Oh, that's right. They lost. You have no right to talk to us about a winning strategy, Peter Dow. You're the epitome of a loser.